Greetings, Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. This is Tirra-Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And you know I love helping women align with their life purpose, tapping into the power within, using ancient wisdom and the goddess-centered lifestyle. And what I want to talk to you today about is about prosperity and abundance. I often find myself talking to women about how do they begin to create more abundance in their lives. It's a little bit of, backwards teaching that we have, lack of proper teaching. And so I just want to touch on that today. I hope that this podcast finds you feeling well, and I am looking forward to sharing what I consider to be the feminine way of manifestation, the feminine way of stepping into greater abundance and prosperity. It's the core of what I teach, which is all about tapping into this feminine energy, having a feminine way of living. And when I say feminine, it's not based on how we have been taught what is feminine for women, because we know that's not working, right? So it's not that. It's tapping into your inner power and creating your world from the inside out. And that's what prosperity and abundance is all about. We have the opportunity to create them at will, though it may take us doing a little bit of work. One of the things I'm just really keen about is having a spiritual practice. So, yeah. So, what I want to talk to you about is first and foremost, again, prosperity is an inside game. Abundance is an inside game. It used to make me crazy when I would hear that because I'm thinking there's no way that I have some lack thinking going on when all I want to do is make money, when all I want is more money and I'm willing to work for it. But then, you know, my lesson in this has been through growing my business. And I just found that I always make more money when I work on my mindset, when I work on my emotions, when I look at any limiting beliefs that I have around money and um, just like how those limiting beliefs impact me, and then do work to release those and replace them with new, more prosperous, abundant, expansive beliefs. All right. So it was through me um, going through it was a 30-day mindset class that I took with one coach. And then with another coach, she was like, hey, um, record gratitude all week long. Just write down what you're grateful for in your life. And then the other thing we had to do was anytime we made money or we got our time back, there was a third thing. I can't remember what it was, but it was like if something abundant happens in your business. And so, like in the business, getting your time back would mean if you had a meeting with somebody and then it got canceled and now you have your time to do something different. Um, so, just really celebrating. It could also be, I got from another coach, if you get one like on the post, like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this one like on my post, right? And so I just started doing that. And all of a sudden I started noticing that I was making more money. I was like, huh, this is interesting. Other things that have happened is like learning astrology and accepting how I'm supposed to make money, as well as learning more about my money house in astrology. That has been very helpful also. And astrology is what I consider to be feminine. It's divination, using divination to lead, guide, and direct your life. Um, and so what I began to realize was it wasn't so much what I did, which action is required on the goddess centered lifestyle. But it wasn't action first. It was, I have to do certain spiritual work in order to see results. And then I just started trying other things such as tapping, which we know tapping or EFT is known for emotional release. And, it's kind of like, just kind of like something we think about when we want to calm our nervous system, right? But a lot of us have an activated nervous system about money. I know I have had it, and there are days when I still get it. And, it's like, oh my gosh, I got to sit down and balance my checkbook. I would feel so much stress around that. So that's, activation of that nervous system, use the tapping. And I also started using hypnosis. When I first started learning about it and working on my certification, I found this hypnosis track and I would just listen to it on a regular basis. And the next thing I know, I'm making extra money. Like money is coming in and showing up. And yes, it's not just like landing in my account. It's a booking or some kind of way where I'm making extra money, right? Maybe occasionally it's a gift from somebody. And then I just started going to through these different trainings. And in one of them, the coach talked about having a prosperity devotion practice. And I thought, that is interesting. That is powerful. Why have I never thought about this? Because I am the spiritual practice queen. It is the foundation of what I teach. So we must have spiritual practices. This is how we heal. This is how we evolve. This is how we succeed. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna work on this prosperity devotion practice. So I started putting together all the tools I was telling you about. I'll tell you another one. Just journaling in general. Just journal. Write down, things that frustrate you, things that don't frustrate you, things that make you happy, things that make you sad or whatever. Journaling, journal, 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 everything else, hypnosis, astrology, and just day after day after day. And, this one coach who teaches about the prosperity devotion practice, she has this 10-day challenge. And she was like, hey, take this challenge. I would go through it 10 days. Every time I do this challenge, I make money taking courses and just seeing myself as taking these courses. And there are actually times in your astrology where the focus actually is, securing that prosperity devotion practice, taking courses, learning more about money, right? I've taken so many money courses too. And it's all about shifting my relationship with money, looking at, where are the limits? What are the stories that I picked up as a child? What did I see my family do? Maybe I'm even dealing with something in my ancestral lineage. And so I started creating this prosperity devotion practice. And the last little bit that I'll say that has been a part of this, and this actually came before the prosperity devotion practice, is understanding your money set point. Okay. And so the money set point is just like what the weight, when we have a set point around our weight. The body loves homeostasis. It really wants to just stay in the same zone, you know, really in everything. The brain, especially the brain, the body, they like the same thing over and over and over. And so that's how some of us get to that set point. And when we're trying to lose weight, sometimes we set point and we hit a plateau because the body is only going to go so low in weight and it's only going to go so high, right? And it's like the body will correct itself to get you back to that set point range. And it's typically, from one weight to another. It could be 5 pounds, 7 pounds, something like that. Everyone, at some point, it's kind of like, I always know I'm just about right here. So we have the exact same thing with money. We have a money set point. And Just like you can change the set point for your weight, you can change the set point for your money. And so I went through this process of changing my set point. And essentially, it's doing this work on the inside. You have to like really look at what is the lowest amount of money that I can receive and I'll be okay. And then there's like the highest amount of money you receive and it will be okay. A lot of us think we want to make all this money, but if your money set point isn't high enough to receive that money, you will make it, but you'll come back down because something feels unsafe about going beyond that set point at the top and beyond the set point at the bottom. And so it's important for you to begin to play around and tinker in your mind if you're struggling with prosperity and abundance. If you're struggling with making money, making more money, then you want to go into that set point and you want to see, you want to make the low set point where you are right now unacceptable. Totally like, I don't want to do this. And then you want to take that upper set point limit and raise it up. And in your mind, you have to begin to see yourself being completely and totally comfortable with that set point. All right. So that's where the prosperity devotion practice comes in. And you really want to have this practice so that, it helps you to keep the set point that you want and desire. If you struggle with thinking like, okay, I want to go from making $5,000 a month to $10,000 a month, then you want to use that prosperity devotion practice to help you as you go into your mind, imagining making 10K. And in the goddess centered lifestyle, we don't always know the answers. We just put it out to the universe. This is what I want. I want 10K per month. I want 20K per month, whatever the number is. This is how much I want per month. That's your job. It's not our job to figure everything out about how this is going to happen. It's our job to be so clear that when the universe tells us what next step we need to take to attract that $20,000, that we can see it and we attract it. All right. So that's what where the prosperity devotion practice is so important. What do you do to shift that set point? And I assure you, because this is my experience with the set point, that set point, once you move it, it works. You will not bring in lower than what you deem to be acceptable. And you will not go higher than what you deem to be acceptable. But all you got to do is adjust the money thermostat. That's essentially what the set point is. We're adjusting the money thermostat. But it does take having a prosperity devotion practice. Some of you have heard me talk about Catherine Zankina, the manifestation babe. I first signed up in that course back in 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. And it completely and totally changed my life. But what I wanted to know was, why is Catherine young enough to be my child? At the time, she was like in her mid to late 20s. And she and I found the secret at the same time. She found the book, I found the movie. Why is Catherine already making so much money and I am not? So I just have been in Catherine's orbit ever since 2020. And the one thing I figured out about her, and she doesn't call it this, but this is essentially what she has: a prosperity devotion practice. Period, full stop. That's what I learned from Catherine. I've been through a couple of versions of her program, and yeah, that's what the more I listen to her and watch her, I'm like, "Oh, she does everything she can to make sure she keeps her money magnet clear so that she can, easily attract the money that she desires." Let me tell you something, dear sisters. Money floats all around us. We're sitting in a sea of abundance. I used to think this is bullcrap because if it was true, I would have some money because I want some money. I'm not catching no money. Money's not coming into my checking account until I began to realize, well, do you have something to catch it? Do you have a limiting belief that's keeping you from catching it? Right? Like, oh, this is what I have to do. I have to have that prosperity devotion practice to keep my money magnet clear, to keep all lids open on containers to catch cash. Sometimes it's catching opportunity, right? Sometimes it's having prosperity in relationships. Because I can tell you right here, right now, relationships is currency. All right. But I really do want to focus on money, cash. You deserve this. We spent just quite a long year, I'll put it this way, with a planet in a money sign. And so it's our time to now integrate and apply what we learned from that transit. So I want you just to remember prosperity, abundance, they're an inside game. And I want to give you 3 things that I've done. Well, I'll say 4. I wrote down 3 and then I thought about a 4th one to support me in my prosperity journey. The first thing, astrology. I have accepted how I'm supposed to make money. It's been scary. I make money on YouTube or online, I should say, not YouTube, but make money online in spirituality. Wow. But it made me accept it and start doing it, and it's true. Then there are other times when, say, for instance, I'm keeping up with Venus. I'm keeping up with my money house, keeping up with Jupiter. I'm keeping up with all my transits that help me to understand when is it going to be a time where there's going to be the flow and when is the time when there's going to be the ebb. And that way I'm working during the flow. So when it's ebbing, I'm not panicking, right? But even in ebbs, I have found you can still make money. Just might be a little more slow in coming. Okay, so astrology. And what I'll explain to you is sometimes you can kind of figure it out yourself, but most of the time you want someone who's fluent in astrology to look at your chart. Again, I'm available as always. If you need a reading around how do you bring in more prosperity, got you covered. So I'll tell you another thing that I really love is the 5 by 55 manifestation method. It's just worked for me. I'm just being 100. And I like that it kind of combines journaling with gratitude and putting ourselves in that energy of abundance. And so what I do is I have one short affirmation, and I always start it with thank you. So there's that gratitude in there. Thank you for, I write it as if it has already happened. Thank you for this many dollars. It could be this many dollars per month or this many dollars for my, for school, this many dollars for paying off my car, like whatever you want. Okay. I'm trying to make it where it's applicable to anything, anybody. And please, dear sisters, short sentences. Okay. We want it to be a very short sentence. I have a notebook, regular 8.5 by 11. I draw a line down the center and I count out the lines, and that way I'll know how many times or like do the lines allow me to write whatever that statement is 55 times, or am I going to have to go into the top margin? So I just start writing it out and I turn on something. I listen to something like a video about manifestation, abundance, or I listen to something that makes me feel abundant. That's something you can do. But a lot of times I turn on something where the person is talking about, you want to think about this with manifesting or that with manifesting. And, it's just like teachings around abundance, prosperity, and manifestation. and I just blow. I try to finish within 10 to 15 minutes. It's not legible, it's not neat, nothing. But what happens is it takes you focusing on this thing that you're working to manifest. So we'll just say, "Thank you for my 10K per month. Thank you for my 10K per month. Thank you for my 10K per month." Just write it down, right? And it makes you really think about it and focus on it, and the subconscious mind begins to wrap around it. When you're journaling, it connects it even more to the subconscious mind. We got the gratitude in there, and then we're future casting, right? We're future casting because you have to write it as if it has already happened. So thank you for, okay? And you do it 5 days in a row, 55 lines, 1 day per week, 5 days in a row. And then what I do is I'll take 2 days off, and then I go back to another 5 days. So I do 5 days of 5 by 55 journaling and 2 days of not doing the 5 by 55 journaling. And there are some times when I don't do it at all, it just I'm good, but I'm doing other things. I'm never off my prosperity devotion practice because when I do get off of it, I notice it. I start getting fears around money. If it seems like money's not coming in quick enough and I'm not quite sure, like, how this is going to work out, then I go, it's like, okay, I got to deepen it. I got to take it deeper. I've got to do more. Okay. So, you know, you can do it 5 days, stop, and then come back a couple of weeks later. We're goddesses. What we have to do is we have to trust our intuition. All right. So 5 by 55 journaling, tapping, where you feel stress and limits around money. So let's say you're raising your set point where you want to move from making $7,000 a month to, let's say, $12,000 a month. And it feels like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how this is gonna happen. I'm so stressed around it. Your upper set point is now 12K, and maybe you're making your lower set 7K, which is kind of like, man, I shouldn't be making 7K per month. I should be making somewhere maybe even in the middle, right? And it feels uncomfortable, right? And so you feeling that stress, tap. Oh my gosh, I'm just feeling so much stress. And if you don't know EFT, I mean, it's so much out there about it. So you could find the tapping points. But essentially, what happens is we begin to unblock our energy because when we tap, we're tapping on the meridians in our body, and our meridians can get blocked. And they get blocked by this activation of the nervous system. They get blocked by um, just all the stress that we're feeling, the emotions that are there. And so when we're tapping, it's helping us, number one, give voice to our fears. So this is not just sitting in there, keeping the lid closed so we can't catch cash. Because that lid is closed when we're feeling that stress and, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna, move the money I make from this point to that point. Oh my gosh. So what we want to do is to give that a voice, release it, let it go. And you can tap as much as you need to. There's actually not any one way you have to tap, to be honest with you. But I do like um, the 7 points that are typically taught. I think they work like a charm. And I just find that the more I tap, the easier it is for me to make money because I'm an entrepreneur. So I do have to look for ways to bring in income. But if you have a job, maybe all of a sudden you get an increase. That actually did happen one time when I was working on shifting my money set point. Just it was like within 24 hours, the director at my nonprofit was like, "Hey, it's time to give you a raise. I'm just going to give you one." Right. So I was like, whoa, that worked fast. So, or maybe it's going to be, you see another place where you could work to make more money. Maybe you create a side gig. Maybe you get an inheritance. Maybe you get a return on your taxes or something like that that you weren't expecting. So I just found tapping to be because when we work on our emotions, period, full stop, the emotions, listen, dear sister, the emotions that we experience are dictating what we allow and don't allow. This is just the goddess way. The goddess way honors the emotions as messengers and clues and hints about what's stuck, something stuck. Where do I need to go to find it? And that is how you can begin to open the lid and allow more cash to flow into your life. So, the last one that I'm going to share with you is hypnosis. And so, hypnosis is again shifting yourself from the inside out. And to me, this is the only way to have more prosperity in your life. I do believe there's some people who are just born with a good money set point. Um, but the majority of us in this culture, especially women, we struggle just because, it's kind of demonized to have money. And we are having to really pay attention to more and more women who have money so that it's just normalized. Oh, of course, women can have a lot of money too, or whatever money. I don't believe everybody needs to be rich. It doesn't matter. It's like every woman can have the amount of money that makes her happy. She can actually create this. And there's some women that will create it, in partnership, and other women who just create it themselves. It doesn't really matter. This is one of the reasons you want to know your astrology. Are you creating it in partnership or are you creating it with others? And so hypnosis helps to bring about this shift more easily and effortlessly. It is about talking to the subconscious mind and releasing limits that have been placed there with a new belief around money and prosperity. Essentially, um, the shifting the money thermostat is in fact impacting. It's like that's the kind of work you're doing in your subconscious mind. Because the subconscious mind, if it's not on board, you will not make the money, bring in the prosperity, have the abundant, feel abundant. You won't do it. It's about getting that subconscious mind to agree. And once the subconscious mind agrees, it sends a message to the conscious mind. We're thinking the conscious mind is, the creme de la creme because we're so attuned to it. We listen to it so much. We're in it so much. But the conscious mind tells the is working at the directive of the subconscious mind. As a matter of fact, the subconscious mind is like, okay, she wants more money. And so there's a part of us that it's like, okay, we need to start looking at places and spaces where we can call in this money. And so that's when the conscious mind will get on board with ways for you to make more money. And you'll just start seeing opportunities. You'll just start noticing them. Okay, it just hit me. I had to actually pause because it was driving me crazy. Critical factor is one of the words I was thinking about. There is a gatekeeper, and it is the critical factor. If your subconscious mind has made a decision about how much money, like, oh, okay, it seems like she's good with making between seven and $9,000. Um, then that message gets sent up, and the critical factor now is only available to see what allows you to make between seven and $9,000. That's the only thing that it's gonna let in and out, and then your conscious mind is picking up that. It's like there's a filter, okay? And so it's like a gatekeeper. And so when you get your mind on board like, hey, I want to raise that upper set point. Maybe it's like, no, I don't want to make less than 8. And I want to raise my money set point up to 12. Then once the subconscious mind is on board, the critical factor is only available to helping you make the money that you now desire, 8 to $12,000, and that's when more opportunity will come. And this is why I love the goddess-centered lifestyle, because the potential that we have inside of us is limitless. And so when we tap that potential, when we tap the goddess within, that's what that potential really is. When we tap that within our own selves, our inner goddess, then that's what makes more possible in life. And this is not just about prosperity. This is about other things too. But we must have a prosperity devotion practice. And so I encourage you to try some of the tips out. I'm going to just include some information about some of the tools that I've listed here. Maybe you want a reading. Maybe you want to try out some hypnosis with me. I'll put that information there. I have quite a bit of resources on my website if you want to learn more about, astrology or hypnosis. Anything that I do, you can look at my blog. And so, yeah, what is it that you're going to do? What are you committed to do today to have a prosperity devotion practice that brings more money to you with ease and flow? That's what I love about this, ease and flow. It's time out for hustle grind, which that has its place. Don't get me wrong. I will hustle and I will grind. But that should not be our only strategy. We mostly should be able to shift our inner world to more easily bring into our life, the flow, the money, the abundance, prosperity that we desire, ease and flow. So, going ahead, write it down right now. What are you going to do to create your prosperity devotion practice? Or if you don't have a piece of paper and a pen, I want you to pull out your phone and I want you to go to your notes app and I want you to type in there, what is it? What are you going to do for your prosperity devotion practice? And then I want you to do this practice for 30 days. Give yourself time to just give it a try, to kind of get used to it. I gave you 4 things. I say choose 3. If all you do is choose one, it will make all the difference. Okay. So, what are you going to do for 30 days straight in honor of the prosperity? Let me just really break this down. The prosperity is not actually without, the prosperity is within. The more prosperity you're tapped to inside of yourself, it will reflect out in the world. You will see it in your bank account. You will see it, just all the money flowing to you, job opportunities, and just so many things just flowing to you. All right. So stay devoted to that practice 30 days, no matter what. What do you have to lose by taking 30 days to engage your prosperity devotion practice? Maybe a little time. Otherwise, I can assure you there's mostly just side benefits. And one of the best is you just feel better. And that is really the beginning of having more prosperity come into your life. Thank you, dear sister, for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of my community. Thank you for being a part of my world. You are a shining star. And I know the world is better because you are here. No matter what, just you being here, you are a beacon of prosperity. You're a beacon of hope, of love, abundance. All things good, all things divine. You, yes, you. Okay. So thank you for being here. And I look forward to hearing how your 30-day prosperity devotion practice goes. And hopefully you will continue to extend it. All right. Have a good one. Thank you. Peace and love.